You know, typically with sequels to games, they either end up a lot better or a lot worse than the game that came prior, so I'd just like to congratulate this game for breaking the mold and somehow being both at the same time. Well, Metroid Dread is right around the corner, and we still got 2 more games to talk about. At least according to Kingdom Hearts numbers. So, let's talk about the series Golden Child. Released 8 years after the original, Super Metroid's main design philosophy was make a good action game, with even the game's director saying we wanted to wait until a true action game was needed. Well, hate to break it to you, but mission already failed, but otherwise, it did pretty good. And in fact, it was considered a game changer at the time. It was critically acclaimed, considered a true start to Metroidvania games. It's known not only as the best Metroid game of all time, but one of the best games of all time. Brought global peace, paid off college loans to the entire Eastern Seaboard, and made some amazing meatloaf. It was a game changer back then, and even 30 years later, it's still seen as one of the best of all time. Though maybe a bit over. Oh, hello. The story this time around is...
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Well, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't matter because it gets proven wrong pretty soon anyway. So right after Samus drops off the baby Metroid for the end of the last game, Ridley, actually looking like Ridley this time, politely explains why he should have the baby Metroid instead, blows up the station, and takes the baby Metroid back to planet Zebes, with Samus in full pursuit. Well, that just sounds like the plot of the first game, but with extra steps. Yeah, with the exception of Samus being the one who delivers the baby Metroid and it being more of a rescue mission this time, it's the exact same thing. And you know I'm right. Federation obtains Metroid, Space Pirates take Metroid, Samus goes to blow up Space Pirates. It might as well be the same thing except for 2 things. One is the ending, which is great and we'll get to later. The other is the presentation. Everything in this game looks and feels fantastic. And horrifying, which is the point. The dark rooms, the bodies on the floor with actual blood. Seriously, Nintendo, where did your balls go? The Ridley reveal with the timed explosion at the end. It's like there's an entire Metroid game in the first 2 minutes. It's great. And hey, just like the setting and atmosphere, the gameplay also got a bunch of additions. You got your cool stuff like your super missile, power bomb, grapple hook, this scan thingy which would actually mean something if it was at the beginning of the game. But it's not, so who cares? Hell, you could even shoot in every direction now. But not just that, you also have a speed boost, techniques that you can do with your speed boost, a wall jump, and just for the sake of it, moonwalking. Because it's the early 90s and it's moonwalking. Why wouldn't you want to moonwalk in a game about chasing after a child? It's moonwalking. Come on, it's not like it's ever going to be controversial or anything. Come on, let's dance. Now here's the thing, this moveset is incredible. This is a game from 1994 and this moveset would fit in with a modern Metroidvania game. The problem is it's 1994 and this is the controller you're using. I mean, don't get me wrong, it works. Just kind of in the same way that GoldenEye 007 works on the N64 controller. Just, it works. Hell, it's not even optimized for the controller. I mean, look at it like this. Not counting the directionals or the pause button, you have 6 buttons to work with. 2 of them are for pointing your blaster either up or down, and 1 of them is for switching between your standard shot and the 4 other items you have here. Does any of that sound right to you? And on top of all that, some things are implemented kind of weird. For example, you learn your wall jump and your speed boost techniques from these animals. More on them later, but let's focus on the wall jump. Wall jumping here works a little like it does in Mario, except it's a quick time event. You have to spin jump into a wall, push into it, turn around, wait for that bit of animation, and then jump onto the other wall. All of that in about, I don't know, a 1/10 of a second? Okay, but that's pretty rare and situational, kind of like pointing down, but I digress. What about something like running into speed boost? First of all, there's a run button in this game. I would not know that, and neither would you for most of the beginning of the game, because there's no reason to use the run button for most of the beginning of the game. It wasn't until I got to this part where I was like, what am I supposed to do? I thought, oh, I have to just jump over this with a space jump. Okay, so I'll come back later. Nope, all you need to do is just run through it. And considering you only see your controls for this game at the very beginning when you turn it on, I feel like most people wouldn't guess that immediately. Now, to be fair, most of this would be forgivable if it was just for, I don't know, top tier players to just go through the game a lot faster than usual, which they usually are. But 1, in about 10 hours of footage, I can only find me using a speed boost 3 times, and 2, using the special speed boost techniques hurt. A lot. So there's barely any reason to use it, there's a big deterrent to using it, and in a map so big, complex, and claustrophobic where you have stuff like this going on, what exactly is the point of this being here? Okay, that's only one good moment though. What about the grapple hook thing? You can barely use it most of the time, and the only cool moment is with that one boss. So like, half the mechanics in this game are only for 1 or 2 cool moments playing normally, and mostly only for speedrunning. Huh. Yeah, this game's kinda tricky, but only for certain people. It is confusing, overstuffed, has way too much going on, but it's also clearly not made for me. This is a game made for people who are willing to play it over and over and over again, find every trick, and memorize the hell out of the entire map just so they could breeze through it really fast. And personally, I just don't like doing that sort of thing. But I can respect people who play this game. There was this 40-minute video that came out like a few days ago, and it showed me a bunch of things I didn't even know about this game. Like, look at this shit, you can do this! I didn't know that! I do acknowledge the crazy amount of work that must have gone into this game, and I do realize it is a game changer in a lot of ways, but I think I more respect this game than actually like this game. Know what I mean? Except for the ending, which is flawless. The ending to Super Metroid might be the most well-known thing about the Metroid series in general. Honestly, this ending is so great that I'm half tempted to just play the entire thing, but that does seem kinda lazy. So yeah, I'm gonna do it, but first, a little bit of context. Yuya spent this entire game going through a maze of horrors and fighting bosses that range from really cool to, oh yeah, that was in there, but most of which could just be handled by, oh hey look, super missile. Also, you can find this one Metroid infant. So when you go into this room, look at all the enemies that are crumbling to dust, and see this thing pop out, you realize, oh hey, my baby, oh god. And right before I waste your ass, which it did very efficiently mind you, it stops short, sparing you and making you realize that despite whatever the hell Mother Brain and the Space Pirates did to it so it could grow, well, just so big, it still recognizes you as its mother. Which kinda makes it sting a bit more considering you killed its entire species. But you know, live and let live. Or not, because you killed them all. All of this was going through my mind as I fought a recreation of the final boss from the first Metroid game, only to beat it and realize they hit you with that multi-phase boss fight. But hey, no problem, this thing's a pushover. I have like 20 more bars of health, I have my reserve tanks, and this thing isn't even doing that much damage to me. This thing is gonna be easy as shit. But right as Samus is praying to whatever god she believes in, this happens. You know, when I first played this part, I was wondering, what was the point of collecting all of these weaponry and stuff if you were just gonna take it away at the very end? But then I realized, you didn't need it. All the searching and exploring you did throughout this game, this wasn't for the items, it was for you. It was for you to enjoy this game however you want. You can go into this boss fight having looked for every item in the game, or having not looked at all, and it would still play out mostly the same. It's kind of poetic in a way. Too bad it's easy as shit though. Okay, fine, just for the ending. Alright, also, these animals happen, but they're not really going to be important until the next game. Bye!